All right, I call the Stokes County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. I'll ask Commissioner Woods to do the invocation.
Let's pray. Precious Heavenly Father, thank you for this beautiful day. Thank you for Stokes County. Be with us as we conduct the business of the county and give us a safe trip home. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I get approval for the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Brings us to public comments.
Each speaker shall be allowed 4 minutes for public comments with the option to yield time to another speaker or add an optional minute depending on the number of speakers that have signed up while abiding by the 30-minute total time limit. All speakers shall maintain good decorum and show respect and good manners. Vulgar language, profanity, inappropriate gestures, insults, personal attacks, accusations, and inflammatory language is prohibited. The chairman of the board shall enforce these rules, and anyone not complying with these rules shall not be allowed to continue. At their discretion, members of the board may address items from the public comment portion of the meeting during the commissioner comment period. We also ask that when you step up to speak, state your name and address as you've written it here. First up, we have Tim Mabe.
Is this microphone working?
Yes.
Hello, my name is Tim Mabe. I'm from Walnut Cove for 75 years. There's not a single citizen of Stokes County, including the county commissioners, that would want this mega data center as proposed 100 feet from their home's property line. The county commissioners know from previous talks and their research, no reputable medical doctor would advise anyone to live within a mile of gas turbines running 24/7, not using a smokestack to disperse pollution. Smokestacks play a crucial role in dispersing pollutants over a wider area, which can help minimize the impacts on local communities. Gas turbine flue gases include particulate matter. That's the matter that's 2.5 microns in size that go deep down in your lungs when you inhale them. Nitric oxides and hydrocarbons, all of which worsen breathing problems, especially on children under 10. Stay-at-home moms with young children would be the most affected because they're there 24/7. A large part of Delta, the worst part, is a power plant that is not being treated as a power plant. It doesn't have a smokestack like Blues Creek. It doesn't have electrostatic precipitators to remove the particulate particles from exhaust gases. It doesn't have a selective catalytic reduction system to get rid of the nitrogen oxides. On occasion, weather conditions can keep these uncaptured or untreated pollutants feet off the ground for days. Children and adults' health will be seriously endangered just to give Delta a faster electric power source, even though the U.S. has 11 times as many data centers as China. So much of this could be a non-problem with a much smaller data center at the middle of Mr. Couch's 1,800 acres. I doubt if either Mr. Couch or Mr. Nations have even given a minute's thought to making Delta smaller so as to protect the health of Delta's neighbors. I think their neighbors are a distant second to the fact that every extra square foot gives us more money. Whether you make a moral decision or a selfish decision, it's a choice. It tells us who you are. There's much in Stokes County's records about the harmful effects of turbine gases on children. If Stokes County doesn't make Delta's buffer much wider via eminent domain or mandate Delta be much smaller, someday a very sick child is going to financially own Stokes County. Thank you.
Please don't be clapping out loud when somebody speaks, okay?
Lou Novak.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Only a billionaire can own a mega data center. Self-powering mega data centers pollute the air, by far the worst, and affect the health of local communities. Why should we allow a mega data center in our backyards that produce virtually the same electrical output as our Blues Creek power plant? Instead of placing the heat from electrical generation into a large lake, the portable turbines will expel their heat into our air along with the poisonous gases, and there will be no tall smokestacks to disperse the poisonous exhaust high into the air. Instead, these harmful gases will be discharged close to the ground where the people live and raise their children. Why should we allow this? I wish all self-powered mega data centers were smaller and connected to the grid, making them less harmful to the communities. Today we have more than 11 times as many data centers as China. It isn't a race. The closer someone lives to the proposed data center, the more pollutants they will breathe. Project Delta will produce the particulate matter, nitric oxides, and the equivalent heat needed to power 1 million homes. Not to mention the continuous noise and bright lights and all this disruption and pollution for only 25 jobs inside the facility. Recent industry analysis indicate up to 50% of planned U.S. data center capacity has been delayed or canceled prior to completion. It sounds like a bubble to me. How do we know this will be completely finished? And how long is it going to take? However, Project Delta is unique in that it will be on an 1,800-acre site. If it was mandated to be much smaller, Walnut Cove and Pine Hall could still be a place where people want to live and raise their children. The buffers could be wider and the neighbors could be healthier. Why haven't we discussed this? Has the love of money clouded good judgment? I live within a half mile of the proposed site. And I'm sorry, I didn't say my name. My name's Lou Novak. And we're very upset about this because this is going to affect so many of our neighbors and us too. If we give in to the greed and allow this mega data center to be built, it will be twice the size of the one planned in Charlotte. This thing will be 4 Haynes malls. Would you want your 5-year-old grandchild to live next to Project Delta? I wouldn't. Jesus said, "What you do to the least of us, you do to me." I think of the McPhail factory data center in Madison. It's 1 million square foot. That thing goes on forever. Could you imagine 6 times the size of that? A self-powered data center is a power plant and needs to be treated as such, with a buffers similar to Blues Creek's steam station. Please protect Delta's neighbors from polluted air. We don't believe our God would want the board to hurt the citizens of the greater Walnut Cove area so badly to help many citizens only a little. The health and happiness of our community shouldn't be put into jeopardy by the greed of some, which drives them to build the biggest data center in the state and the money it makes for them. We trust you do the right thing by putting your people over any billionaire investor. They get richer at the expense of the families that have lived and toiled here for decades. Don't sell us out, but fight for us. Thank you.
Richard Bonnet.
Thank you. I'll start now. Greetings to the commissioners and the county staff. It's clear as we listen to the data center debate that you have 5 commissioners who make decisions for 126 residents, and that's a heavy stress. I think we need more time. So I'm dressed today in pink, as I do when I'm in the operating room, because in 2000 my wife and I honeymooned in Western Carolina and decided this is where we want to raise children and this is where we want to spend the rest of our life. And the thing about it is, I also wear pink because one of my lifetime partner died from cancer. And if you have not witnessed that, it's something else. On February 18th of this year, we had a bomb scare in Walnut Cove, a bomb threat. And my concern is, having lived through 9/11 in New York, where my uncle, he died a few years later from side effects and lesions. My father, he had a cough for 1 year. And my brother never showed up, not even a body part, and he worked in that area. We becoming a target if we set up a huge data center that's hyperscale in Walnut Cove, and that's something I'm afraid of. I have six quick suggestions. Understand that the people of Stokes County and the commissioners are actually on the same side. The people who are making the proposal, they're on the other side. And we should start acting like that. We're not opposing the commissioners. We and the commissioners are on the same side. 2, fast tracking any new projects that will come to fruition in 5 to 10 years can curtail benefits. We'll be waiting a long time to do that. If you have a hyperscale project with 8 data centers, if it's so safe, why don't we just have one big one? Nobody has looked at it. We need more time to really discuss what the possibilities are. The nuclear power plants that we're looking forward to, if they don't come through, they will never have the power. It takes about seven of those plants that we have just looking to have one in order to accommodate this data center. I asked for the commissioners to call on having a 1-year moratorium, at least, or till the end of this year, so that they could have some more time and so that it could be better for their health. The next thing is, custom is superseded by actual procedures, and I've seen in our organization here where we have tabled motions until the next meeting. That's not proper procedure. Proper procedure is postponed to a time certain or postponed indefinitely. This is from Robert's Rules of Order. The other thing is, it seems like we're using a lot of ChatGPT, and we should realize that I'm not a lawyer, but I'm a parliamentarian, and in actual case laws, it's inaccurate because when it's used, you can't quote actual authorities. For example, Robert's Rules of Order, just decisions. There's also another possibility that you consider putting this thing to take the weight off your GI and your cardiovascular system, is to consider having a referendum and the vote in this upcoming election so you can let the people decide on it. And how come you could have a proposal for a data center before you have the zoning taken care of? I think we should do that. And my final thing is, did you notice that the sound of the hyperscale data center is the same sound that they make when they're mining cryptocurrency? And that would explain why. One of the things that we should look at before we decide what to do on it. I think yes, no, and a town hall meeting where you could hear all the opinions and everybody could be satisfied would help release the stress on you and on us. Protect our health and yours also. Thank you.
Carla Pack.
Hi, my name is Carla Christian Pack. I live on Old Town Road in Walnut Cove. When you come into Walnut Cove, you see those wonderful signs that say, "Welcome to Walnut Cove. Our roots run deep." My roots run real deep. Have any of you ever heard of Mr. Vess Christian, Sheriff of Stokes County, 1916 to 1918? That's my grandpa. Or the Danbury Porter, the Peppers, that's my great-grandpa and my uncles. So my roots run real deep in Stokes County. Thank you. And that's why I'm so adamant about this data center, because I do live very close to it. But I have so much family that is established here in Stokes County. And you are stewards. You've been given this job of being stewards of this land. This land can't ever be replenished or made perfect again like it is right now if a data center comes in. And anyway, I like to read this. Things I cannot find. First, real estate agents that tells me it's easier to sell a house near a data center. First homeowner that wants a data center to be built near their home. First homeowner near operating data center that sleeps well at night. First homeowner near a data center that says the noise, the bright lights, the pollution lowers his blood pressure and stress level. First doctor that tells me it is healthier living near a data center than a cornfield. First person that would rather hear a 70 dB hum than see a beautiful hummingbird. First person that would rather see a 100-foot tall block of concrete than a mountain. First person that thinks a data center makes his drinking water safer. First person, when given a choice, wants to live near a data center. First person that says he would enjoy 2,000 truckloads of concrete going by his home over a 3-year period. And I think that is really going to be right in front of my house on Old Town Road. First person that wants federal, state, and county tax breaks for the richest people in the world. A super rich person that lives near a data center. An NDA agreement that has the best interest of the average citizen. An old married couple happy about sharing their last few years together with 50 running gas turbines and giant cooling blowers next door. A nature trail around a data center where you can even hear nature and smell honeysuckles. Now, these are things that I can find. People that love money more than their neighbor's quality of life. People that consider Walnut Cove and Pine Hall sacrifice stones to benefit their part of Stokes County. Persons that after data center is approved might move to a pristine natural environment in Montana and there claim to be stewards of the land. People that live 10 miles or more from the future data center and just don't care what happens to those whose homes abut the project. People whose moral compass gets people whose moral compass gets attracted to promises of big money. People that want others to sign NDAs to hide the truth from those that will be most affected by approval of this data center. I want to read that one again. People that want others to sign NDAs to hide the truth from those that will be most affected by approval of this data center. People that wrongfully assume Walnut Cove and Pine Hall are just uneducated citizens that don't have long-term memories.
We better finish up, man.
Okay.
We need to wrap it up.
People that want the data center but secretly are glad they don't have to live near it. People that believe anything a developer says if he promotes enough money. And people that convince themselves those that oppose a data center product are exaggerating. And it's not all that it's bad, and it's not as bad as it could get. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jim Wilkes.
One thing I can promise you is the bell won't go off on me, okay? First, I'd like to commend you for the good job on the Novant Health thing that you did. Thank you so much for that. That was a great achievement on your part. My point is, now, we just don't want to negate that with something that we could make a bad move on. Now, my thoughts are simply this. We better know the full health effects. I mean, we need to know the full health effects of what this thing's going to do before we give it an okay. I'm not saying it won't be okay. I'm just saying we just need to know what we're doing. We can't just trust someone telling us that, we want to be responsible neighbors. Yep. I mean, I respect somebody wanting to be a responsible neighbor, but you just can't take that for, that's the gospel on everything. So we got to go from that standpoint. And, you know, this thing could possibly, based on some of the things that these other folks have said, think about some of the long-range legal effects that we could have if we do have these children affected or whatever. I mean, you know, maybe we say, well, that's probably not going to happen. But all it's going to take is just, you know, one of those, and somebody's going to be like Tim says, going to own this county, and we don't want that to happen. We just don't want stuff that's going to turn sour and harm the, you know, people's health. And it's already a big topic in other places, so we've seen that. We just got to be smart. We got to give it a lot of thought. And I think if you do that, people will respect you for it. And, you know, that's what most folks want. You know, we just want you to give it plenty of time. Make sure we know what we're doing. Just make sure of it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Cheryl Sapesi.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Sapesi, and I live at 2845 Tuttle Road, and I'm new to Stokes County. We just built a home there, and we moved here because of the beauty of Stokes County, the quietness, the farms, just for a more quieter, healthier life. I don't know anybody that moves to an area for a data center, so I am opposed to it big time. But I do ask you, I understand the reasoning why you're thinking of it, to give it a moratorium on it for at least a year to know the real effects, like everybody else is saying here, of what it's going to do to affect our area. I also had a question about, we have this, the last meeting that you had, this in the, what was it, the zoning meeting? We have this M2 heavy manufacturing district proposal operation. Well, in here, it does say where for the sound effects and what your standards are, which I have a copy if you all want a copy of it to look at. You can pass that one to look at it, which could be a loophole for somebody if you go with this. So this is another reason why we need a moratorium, because we need to make sure that we have good, strong rules in effect for the data centers. I think it's 92.51 on page 4. You list the standards for the sound. Industrial District M1 and 2, 75 dBA. Well, you list that's, you know, it can't go over 10 dBAs for a single event for building and the equipment there. But it also says these standards do not apply for temporary activity. So from what we understand from Drew Nation himself, it could take up to 10 years to build this. So are we going to have temporary higher sounds for 10 years, like the generators running and all that? So there are questions that we need to know about and other questions that go along with that. So I think we need to study it a little bit more before we go ahead and do a rush approval on this like we did last time. We need a good, you know, maybe a year for a moratorium to make sure we have good rules in place for everyone with that. Because that's very just like the county does have restrictions on the sound for if it's detrimental to people's health. And you do have that in your laws. I brought that up before for that. You have an ordinance on it that the sound can't go over a certain amount. So I think that's a good thing too. And you know, there's other ways of bringing money in. He said that we were going to have $20 million at the end of 5 years and $40 million at the end of 10 years. Well, that's if we even see that, because now, as we know, they're already doing new things. This could be obsolete. And then we're going to be stuck with this building there, and then who's going to clean it up? And where's the tax money? Nobody got any tax money. Now us taxpayers are going to have to pay for it. You know, like in Greensboro, they're adding on to the airport there. They're going to have 146,000 jobs come in to this area in Greensboro. Not everybody's going to want to live in Greensboro, just like us. My husband works in Greensboro. We moved out here to get away from that area. So you are going to have more people that are going to want to move out into Stokes County that bring better tax revenue, that are going to have families and grow up here, open businesses. I mean, Walnut Cove, you have 2 new restaurants opening up. You have a Mexican, a steakhouse that's going to open up. So wouldn't you want a better base of that doesn't harm the community? But that's why we need a temporary moratorium on this, just to make sure. So that's all I really want to say, is that if you would consider a temporary moratorium on this, just to get more facts about it for health, environment, everything for everybody. Just to at least give their respect to the people to do that for them that live here, the citizens. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jason Duncan.
Jason Duncan, Pine Hall. I want to share a poem with you. A poem by a Drew that I actually happen to trust. Drew Dillinger. It's 3:23 in the morning and I'm awake. My great grandkids won't let me sleep. My great grandkids ask me in my dreams, what did you do when the planet was being plundered? What did you do when the earth was being unraveled? Surely you did something when the seasons started failing, as the mammals and reptiles and birds all started dying. Did you protest in the streets when democracy was stolen? What did you do once you knew? And that's my question to you. What are you going to do now that you know?
Jane Mabe.
I'm new at this. I've never done it before, so I hope it's agreeable. I'm Jane Mabe. I live at 1143 Power Dam Road, Walnut Cove. I live about 2 miles from the proposed data center. Very upset about it. Very upset. My things are mostly questions to you county commissioners. How much research did you do before you made it? Thank you. How much research did you do before you made your decision, with whom and where concerning the data center? And what was your defining factor that caused you to vote for the data center over the will of your constituents? It appears to me that you had no problem approving solar panels and the unwanted data center in the Walnut Cove area. But the solar panels have been stopped at present, making room for the Delta project and millionaires at our expense. You are destroying our community and life as we know it. Also, our water supply is at risk, the value of our properties, as well as a historical farm. We will no longer have a peaceful, safe, and quiet atmosphere because of your reckless vote. I wonder if these projects were proposed in your area, would you have voted the same way? I think not. Thank you.
Diane Koppel.
My name is Diane Koffel, and I live at 1270 Briarwood Drive in Walnut Cove. My husband and I have been there now for 50 years this year. I have some information that I found. Numerous North Carolina local governments have enacted temporary moratoriums on data center development in 2026 to update zoning laws regarding immense power and water usage. Mount Airy and Surrey County enacted 60-day pauses, while nearby communities like Durham and Apex have year-long moratoriums, and Charlotte has a 150-day pause. The rapid boom in data center construction, spurred by AI demand, has pushed dozens of municipalities across the state to pause permitting while they evaluate infrastructure, noise, and environmental impacts. Here are some current moratoriums already in place. Surrey County, Mount Airy, enacted 60-day moratorium to evaluate how best to zone these high-impact facilities. Charlotte approved a 150-day pause lasting until November 5th, 2026, to allow joint city-county task force to research policy solutions. Durham, city and county, imposed a 12-month pause to develop stricter land use regulations. Chatham County enacted a 12-month moratorium targeting data centers and crypto mining. Wake County and Apex leaders implemented a 12-month suspension on data center development. Northampton County passed a 32-month pause to carefully amend zoning ordinances and isolate impacts to heavy industrial districts. Other North Carolina municipalities, towns including Boone, Canton, Woodfin, Marshall, and Holly Springs have also passed one-year moratoriums. Statewide legislation has also changed. Alongside local halts, state officials are reevaluating how North Carolina accommodates these massive facilities. Data Center Transparency Act, a state measure to establish a multi-year statewide moratorium on state and local permitting while the North Carolina Collaboratory evaluates data center impacts on the electrical grid and water supply. Tax exemption rollbacks. Governor Josh Stein proposed phasing out and fully repealing sweeping state tax exemptions currently given to large data centers. Proposed energy regulations. Senate Bill 730 is moving through the legislature to mandate noise studies on large data centers and use closed-loop recycled water systems. In addition, Mayodan and Surrey County recently adopted moratoriums on hyperscale data centers. Canton, North Carolina, a small community in rural Haywood County, unanimously approved a one-year moratorium on hyperscale data centers a few short months ago. Why are these and other rural and metropolitan areas putting moratoriums on hyperscale data centers? Because rushing to approve leaves their communities open to irreparable harm. Once done, a hyperscale data center or centers are built that cannot be undone. Once you destroy what's here, it can never go back. These data centers could be harmful not only for us, but what about generations to come? I have passed on a sample of a 60-day moratorium. We would like longer, a year. Remember, there's a vote coming up at the end of this year. Some of you may or may not be back on this board. What do you want to give and leave to those who succeed you? Thank you.
That's all of our public comments.
This time I'll close the public comments and I'll move to the commissioner's comments, and I'll start with Commissioner Cox.
I'd just like to thank everybody for being here today and sharing their points of view. And I will say, I don't know where the NDA talk comes from because nobody signed an NDA and we've not been asked to, and nobody's under an NDA. So that part of the conversation can just go away, in my opinion, because that's irrelevant because we haven't signed that. So just thank you all for coming and sharing your opinions with us today.
Mr. Woods.
Yes, thank everybody for coming out today. I want to take this opportunity to another subject that was hot when we first got in. It sure was good to see Tommy on Channel 8 News bragging about the animal shelter and the policy he had worked out with a new vet in Wonk Cove. So if y'all want to clap for something, clap for that.
That's all I got. Mr. Marks.
I'd like to also welcome everybody and appreciate everybody showing up today and sharing your opinions with us. And also those who might be online watching as well. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Jones.
Mr. Chair, I want to welcome everybody, another good crowd. It feels good. Like I mentioned to last, when you look out and you see a lot of involvement in county government. Needs to continue that way with other issues that'll be coming up. Though this is not just the only issue that's going to be looming for this county. I do want to give a shout out to all the dads. Father's Day was yesterday. I'm hoping everybody, had a real good time and celebrated and recognize our families. So that's all I got, Mr. Chair, and good seeing everybody, and thanks for coming out.
Yeah, it's great to see that each and every one of you take time out to come out today to the local government and express your concerns about what's going on. It's greatly appreciated. I'm watching other counties, paying attention to what's going on, gathering a lot of information about this stuff. And so just know that we are studying it. It ain't just a split-second decision. And everyone, please be safe. The weather temperature is getting up, so we don't want to run calls on you. So everyone be safe. Again, thank each and every one of you for being here. I'm sorry. County Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to comment on one thing to give our community a heads up that our second annual resident survey should be hitting mailboxes here in the next week or so. It is designed to be a representative sample, so not everybody will get one, but I know that most of us are tired of all the junk mail in your inbox, and we're pretty quick to toss things that don't look familiar. But if you get an envelope from the ETC Institute in Kansas and you open it up, there'll be a cover letter on that survey from me. So you'll know that it's legit. So please look out for that survey. If you get one, we sure would appreciate your feedback. Thank you.
Yeah, please, if you get one, fill it out, because the last one we sent out, it was a lot of good information, and it showed a lot of concerns in different areas of where the people in the county was concerned about this or concerned about that. So please open it up and look at it.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Trying to get anything better. Jennifer? Olivia? I'll make sure I get up by this time. All right, that moves us to conflict of interest. Before moving further, does any board member have a conflict with any of the items on the agenda today or could proceed as a conflict of interest? Okay, moves us to the consent agenda. Could I get approved for the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Information agenda. Employee of the quarter recognition.
Hey there. Okay, so it is my privilege, even though Mr. Brandon Joyce could not be here with us today, he had prior obligations, but it is my privilege to recognize Brandon Joyce, our environmental health supervisor, as Stokes County Government's Employee of the Quarter for the first quarter of 2026. Brandon was nominated by several of his co-workers who all described him as a dedicated leader who consistently reflects the core values of Stokes County, which is service, initiative, teamwork, and improvement. In the area of service, Brandon has worked tirelessly to serve the citizens of Stokes County, often carrying an exceptionally heavy workload while continuing to provide timely, respectful, and professional assistance to the public. In initiative, Brandon has stepped up without hesitation to meet the needs of both the department and to the community. He has taken ownership of challenges, addressed problems proactively, and remained dependable under pressure. Through teamwork, Brandon has created a supportive environment and a positive work environment. His coworkers described him as patient, knowledgeable, and always willing to help others learn, grow, and succeed. In the area of improvement, Brandon has continuously looked for ways to strengthen operations, support staff, and keep the department moving forward, even during difficult staffing shortages and demanding circumstances. His nominations also speak to his outstanding job performance and professionalism. Brandon is known for treating coworkers and citizens with fairness, respect, and integrity while demonstrating steady leadership and accountability every day. On behalf of the Stokes HR office and of Stokes County government, we're proud to recognize Brandon Joyce for his hard work, dedication, and faithful service to our county and our citizens. So if you all will help me congratulate him, we have him a certificate and a $100 Visa gift card, and we have awarded him with 1 vacation day. So we hope Brandon will have time to use that vacation day. But Tammy is here. She's going to say a few things about him as well.
Just thank you for everyone that voted for Brandon. The past 2 years have been real trying for Brandon and his department with the shortage, and he's stepped up and he's took on more than he really could. And we're hoping to get that straightened out soon, but I know he would be thankful today.
Okay, that moves us to public hearing documents for the public hearing.
This is the public hearing. Oh, you want to go? Okay. This is the public hearing for text amendments B, C, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, O, Q, and S. Each speaker shall be allowed 4 minutes, with the option to yield time to another speaker, depending on the number of speakers that have signed up, while abiding by the 30-minute total time limit. All speakers shall maintain good decorum and show respect and good manners. Vulgar language, profanity, inappropriate gestures, insults, personal attacks, accusations, and inflammatory language is prohibited. The chairman of the board shall enforce these rules, and anyone not complying with these rules shall not be allowed to continue. Sandra Robinson.
I'm Sandra Robinson, and I live at 1055 Vicky Lane in King, North Carolina. Thank you for letting me speak today. I would just like to ask, by a raise of hands, how many of you all commissioners have children? And how many have grandchildren? And probably true of people in the audience as well. With all of the news stories we see these days about hyperscale data centers, I'm sure you've seen the information on the destruction of landscapes, water tables, water supplies, air quality, and noise pollution, with an increase of about 5 degrees up to 5 miles away, depending on how big the data center is. I invite you to think about hyperscale data centers from the perspective of your children and grandchildren and their children and grandchildren. Do you want your future generations to not have the access that we in this room have all had all of our lives to clean water, clean air, and the ability to hear bird songs and bees' wings? How many of you grew up in rural communities like I did, if not Stokes County? Sure, we had new industries move in and technologies, but nothing on the scale of AI. What I believe the majority of people in this room and in Stokes County are looking for is more transparency and not less about hyperscale data centers. Your constituents were and are upset over the lack of transparency. When an application was filed last year for hyperscale data centers, 8 of them to be exact, the process to approve only took a few weeks in late 2025 and early 2026. A few weeks to approve the addition of at least 8 hyperscale data centers, or on almost 3 square miles near Walnut Cove. Amendment S, which the Planning Board approved and forwarded on to you, makes the entire process less transparent, not more. Your constituents need and want more information regarding everything about what constructing a hyperscale data center would entail. They want more information and more oversight. They want time for documentation regarding the status of noise levels, water, air quality, plant and animal species that call the 3 square mile area home today, before anything happens, because as we've heard others say, once it's done, it can't be undone. Where are these studies? They should be completed by neutral parties and professional engineers, botanists, and animal scientists before moving forward. Without a baseline, we cannot and should not move forward. Without an understanding and oversight, we should not move forward. We are dealing with a brand new technology that we need to understand and to do what your constituents want. Get more information, not less. Please do not move forward with Amendment S, as in Sam, as it is written, as it does not deliver on transparency, information, and oversight for the people of Stokes County.
Thank you.
That's all.
Okay, at that time I close the public hearing, I'll move to the discussion agenda, Stokes County EMS Medical Director contract.
Are we supposed to take any action on the documents for the public hearing?
I guess I would recommend you have a discussion on the topic, and I'd like to move it to action tonight. That would be welcome. Although, Brian, you may want to have some comments about procedure.
Sure, and I'm happy to do that whenever you decide to do that, to move it to discussion and to move it to action. I included all the information in your agenda packet. I'm happy to walk you through it at that time, or answer any questions you have.
Well, I guess since it's on here, the
I'm good with it.
appropriate time would be now.
Yeah,
Sorry, Brandon.
sorry, buddy. Got ahead of myself there.
No, it's not clear.
So, the things that were taken out and tabled by the planning board were things that had to do with data centers, right?
For the most part,
For the
yes.
most part.
They
So
were.
that's not really part of this
No.
change.
No. And there was one additional amendment we, as staff, tabled, Amendment D. We tabled that. We'll take it back to the planning board to bring it back to the Board of Commissioners at a later date.
Why did y'all table it, just so was there something missing or
We
something
just
else
need-
you needed to do to it?
We just need a little bit more time to bring it in compliance. I think Jennifer and I both agree we want to pair it directly with state statute rather than have it paraphrased.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So what do we need to do? Do we need to vote on that budget ordinance, like the 5th document down in that list today, to approve all these? Is that
Well,
what
there's
we need?
a motion to adopt, and then there's an ordinance adopting the amendments. And
Okay.
I think we would like you to vote on both of those.
Okay.
Would it be simpler just to wait and do it all at once instead of piecemealing? Or do we need immediate action to conform to state law?
It makes more sense to me to have, since you're already at the public hearing stage, to go ahead and move into discussion on that and go ahead and deal with that separately, just to avoid any confusion on the action that you're taking, if you take action on anything. Well, I mean, you will have to take action, you'll either approve or deny, so it would be good to have that grouped together, if that makes sense. So, I mean, I think that procedurally, either Brian can give you a rundown of everything he's got, or if y'all have specific questions or discussion on the amendments, this would be the appropriate time to do that, and then you all would make a motion either to approve or deny based on the sample motions, or if y'all want to use a different motion, you can. These are just provided because they've been pre-approved to include the requisite statutory language.
Or make a motion to move it to action.
Correct,
tonight.
yes, absolutely.
I guess what I'm confused with is if we is it urgent that we get at least what the planning board has recommended to be approved? So we take action on it tonight because it helps us solidify, because, you know, the way I've read it and my interpretation is we have not been up to statute, another state statute. We were not following state statute.
In some cases we were, but our ordinance said different things, so it's confusing to the public.
And the staff. It was confusing to the planning
Yeah.
staff as well. So I will say that if you don't mind if I answer that, the amendments that are before you tonight are the amendments that we felt were really just clarifying our ordinance and bringing them in line with the planning and zoning statutes of 160D. You'll see a lot of reference to that throughout your packet, and a lot of those amendments were simply taking the 160D definitions and putting those into our ordinance to make it line up with the state statutory process.
Procedurally, you've had a public hearing on these recommended changes. It makes the most sense to either approve or don't approve on a case-by-case basis now, and then we can bring the next batch to you later on. Otherwise, we're going to wind up mixing all this stuff up. And
That's correct.
So this piece is done, but I mean, we've been through the process. It's really nothing's going to change between now and the next meeting.
That's correct.
I wouldn't think. And it's mainly to just align things that need to be aligned with state statutes. It's administrative changes, basically, for the most part.
It grew organically from the need to take a look at our ordinance and make sure that we were up to date with 160D.
What are we doing to keep up? In from building trades, this stuff changes almost every month. What are we doing to keep up to date?
That's one thing that we've been discussing. Jeff has in the proposed budget timeline a comprehensive overhaul to take place in 2028. But in the meantime, Brian and I are working really closely together to make sure that if there are changes that come down, that those are contemporaneously or as close to brought to the board as quickly as we can, the planning board and then the board of commissioners, just to keep up to date on those.
So we're really trying to plug the holes wherever we can until we have time to completely overhaul the process.
Has the new planning director started?
No.
scheduled to start on the 29th.
Okay.
I'm good with getting it done today. Once everything's ready.
Yeah, I'm good with moving it to action.
Good move to action.
Thank you.
Got consensus on that.
Sorry, I got ahead of myself.
Yeah, wasn't real.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, now we move to discuss the agenda. Stokes County EMS Medical Director contract. Brandon.
Good afternoon, board. This is Dr. Chris Davis. Basically coming to you with the medical director contract with Dr. Nelson. Has served us since 2010. He's decided to retire as our medical director. This is like I said, Dr. Davis. He's been with us since 2023 as assistant medical director. Been in EMS field since 2003. Started in Durham County as a paramedic firefighter. Went and become a medical doctor. Worked at Baptist Hospital, I guess your whole career.
Since 2014.
Worked here as a fellow under Dr. Nelson. In 2017, assisted him and was helped out for Forsyth County, Iredell County, and become our assistant medical director in 2023. And lives in Pinnacle. Just built the house, and we'll see him. He'll be living in the county and running calls. And but
did you check his license? Because he looks awful.
he rode with me up here.
He rode with you?
Yeah.
I'm still waiting to get my driver's license.
It's Chris. I told him everyone's name, and if you got any questions for him, it's the same 2-year contract. Basically, it's just all the wording, everything's the same that we do every year with Baptist or Atrium. Like I said, just need Wayne to sign off on that, and that'll start July 1. Dr. Nelson been in EMS 43 years, I believe. And, but he's still going to be working at Baptist Hospital in the emergency room. He's not totally retired. And any questions you have for Chris or anything you'd like to?
Yeah, well, I just said thank everyone for having me here today and here in Stokes County in general. I've been new-ish here, but I worked with the county starting in 2017 when I was an EMS fellow, so I trained here in EMS, but I've been in North Carolina EMS since 2003, I guess, in various different places and roles. So excited to be here, excited to be even bigger part of my community here. We we're Stokes County residents too. We live in Pinnacle. We operate a flower farm there and stuff too. So we're I'm excited to be here, be part of the community. So I'm kind of a new face here, but have been around EMS North Carolina for 23 years. So long time.
Well, welcome aboard to being our medical director. And I'm sure we will cross paths.
Yes, I'm certain of that. So I'd also like to thank Dr. Nelson too, for being a personal mentor to mine, and also for his 40 plus years of service to North Carolina and to
He
EMS
wanted
here.
to be here, but he's at the beach. So
Yeah.
he wasn't coming on to the beach.
Yeah, and just to let everybody know, Dr. Nelson grew up in this county.
Yep.
He's from Sandy Ridge.
He actually was employed here.
Yes.
As a paramedic.
Correct.
He started working here.
Started as an EMT in 1985, right? Or
Yeah,
84,
84.
Yeah.
I just have one question.
Yes, sir.
Welcome aboard. It's great to have you. Is your philosophy on how we do things up here in Dr. Nelson's pretty much the same, or do you see some changes or things you might want to make?
It's, I would say that we're very well aligned. I mean, he was my mentor and he brought, one of my greatest mentors and trained me. I'm certain that as times will evolve, my own fingerprint will hopefully leave on the place, but I would not expect, from in general, EMS runs very well here in Stokes County. I think it's really remarkably well for the most part, and I don't think anyone should expect any major changes or anything from that point. I do, he trained me. I respect him greatly, and I think we approach things very similarly.
I was hoping you would keep the same policy and guidelines we have, because a lot of people in our county don't understand what our medics can actually do in the back of that truck.
Oh yeah, that's definitely, we've seen that has been our protocols and the way that we've run has been very successful. I think we've seen that with our successful recruitment for recently going to 24/72 shift schedule. We've had recruited some fantastic folks that are coming here because of that, and I have no intention of changing any of that. So
Welcome. We appreciate you taking on that role, Dr. Davis.
Thank you.
And we will move this to action.
Great.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That moves us. Okay. That takes us to the 2027 Stokes County operating plan.
I can make a few relatively brief remarks on that. That our 2027 Stokes County operating plan is now complete. Appreciate your patience with us as we tried to make final improvements on that. And as you know, this is the second year we've done this document. We made some big steps forward last year in creating that document from scratch, but there was still a lot of room for improvement, and we did our best to cross all those T's and dot all those I's and add material that we thought was helpful to our community. And so, as I said, that's ready for your approval tonight if you wish to do that. I'd like to summarize some of the key changes in this year's document. Within the budgeting and operating plan guide section, we've included now a comprehensive summary table depicting all the major and minor funds that Stokes County operates and maintains, as well as information on Stokes County's financial policies. We've added our key performance indicator data that we've been collecting over the course of this year. That's all new as well, to the operational priorities development section, and incorporated those into our balanced scorecard. We have better aligned the groupings of our general fund expenditures by functions to be more intuitive and in line with the way we are organized as a county government. We have a section dedicated to Stokes County's financial support to our schools that wraps it all up so our residents can better understand how we support our Stokes County schools. The special revenue fund summary has been updated to include our enhanced 911 communications fund. The capital improvement plan section has been updated to include leased fleet vehicles, which are required by government accounting standards to be treated as capital for accounting purposes. We've added an operating plan glossary for reference, as well as a community profile section that has interesting data about our community. And we added a fund balance section that captures the fund balance, not only in our general fund, but all the different funds across the portfolio of our financial funds, so folks understand where we stand there. And we've added an overall debt load summary within the general fund discussion, so our residents can better understand the cumulative total of the debt load that we have and what that looks like going forward. And I just recommend to our residents, take a look at this document. I mean, I think that for a lot of us, county government can be very confusing, and it's kind of an enigma. But we've done our best to try to create and add in material in this document that helps us all better understand how county government works. So it's not just about the budget and what we're spending money on, but there's a lot of helpful information about how we're organized and how we're structured and how we all work together to create results for the community. And the document, as drafted and recommended for approval tonight, is posted prominently on our main Stokes County webpage. So again, I invite you to dive into that and see what you can learn about how we operate. The better informed we all are, the better armed we are to come to the table with recommendations for improvement as well. So thanks in advance.
Look, I'm really pleased with the product this year, Jeff, and anxious to get some hard copies and start getting them out and get it disseminated, like you just said, everywhere we can, so people can get a really good understanding of how things operate around here.
I just want to say thank you to our manager and our assistant county manager and staff. I mean, from 4 years ago or 3.5 years ago, stepping into this seat, into where we are right now, to where we're open, we're transparent. I think we still need to improve on the communication part, I think, to get back to the citizens, like was pointed out in the survey. You can see with our financial plan, I mean, even if we change where we're, maybe going a different way with the program or in terms of capital, I mean, it's all changed. So it's just like a ticker going 5 years down the line. There's nothing, there's no shocks. If you go back and just look to like I say, go back 3.5 years ago, when we would just come in here on the budget and we would all go around the table up here and, well, how much money do we have in general, in our fund balance? And then we all go and say, well, how much do we want to leave in the fund balance? Or how much do we want to think? And I don't even, you shouldn't even run your house budget like that. But that's where we're at right now. It's not perfect, like the manager is saying. I mean, everything is connected. And a lot of things that have gotten kind of left out is the fact that a lot of stuff was tied to county policy too. And like our personnel policy, even with, how we tracked our lease vehicle expenditures and stuff, to which, it's now corrected. But I just want to say, thanks, because this sets the foundation for years and years and years here in Stokes County. And as long as our citizens just pay just a little bit of attention to that, I think that will go a long way, because we still need your feedback. If you want to cut services, tell us what services you don't want to have, and then we can go into the budget and delete the service and tell you how much you save, and then it'll go 5 years in advance. Anyway, thank you. That's all I got, Mr. Chair.
To you and your staff, good job. That's it.
Yeah, it's a very thorough. I really appreciate all the work that went into this document. It's a lot of information and very well done, so thank you.
And easy to read.
Yep.
Again, Jeff, thank you for your hard work, you and your staff and all. And no matter what happens on this board down the road, I hope they stay on that track. You know, the 5-year plan that you got implemented, and I hope there'll be another 5-year plan. And I hope they go up that way. I was kind of like Commissioner Chandler. It used to be we come in, all right, well, we got $50 million to work with. Okay, we're gonna leave you out $50 million, but there was never really an actual plan in place to specify where each line item was going, you know, what we're gonna do 2 years from now and that kind of stuff. But I think now the county as a whole is on the right road, and the documents you've got together and the brochure. Matter of fact, I was looking at it last week, just going back to what we look from to the year 2030, how far we're looking out, you know, just looking at some of the stuff. Again, thank you.
Thank you.
So we'll move back to action.
Yes,
That's good.
Okay. Next item is our county contract, county attorney contract. I'll be corrected on that.
It's okay. I have sent over a proposed draft. We're coming up on contract renewal time. It's different than last year's. Last year's was a little bit hurried given that we were transitioning from Ty to myself, and then again when our law firm merged. So you'll find that there's some different language in there. This is a jumping off point if you guys have any questions. Have not requested a rate increase at this point. I did include some additional language attempting to clarify what is within the retainer and what's not within the retainer, or my recommendation on that, as well as a fee schedule. Because we have so many more resources at this law firm, there are opportunities to have associates or other persons to do some of the tasks and have me review them, and I thought that might be an interesting way to be a little bit more efficient for the county. So I welcome any questions you all might have, and I'm certainly willing to, if you guys feel like you need more time to look at this and figure out what you might want to do on it. I'm willing to continue under the current contract temporarily until we can figure out what needs to be done.
When does it expire? When does it expire?
It technically expires June 30th, so we would need to take some action in terms of at least a temporary extension of the existing contract today. But this is just a suggestion to include some additional language, but I'm certainly up for any discussion you all might have on that. So.
I didn't have any problem with it personally. The language that you proposed, I'd approve it today. It's really not that much different than what we had before. It's got like you said, a little bit more clarity about a little bit how you could use those other people a little bit. But other than that, it's I think it's pretty close to the same, right?
Yeah, I did talk to Ty a little bit about some of the intent of the initial contract, and it wasn't super clear on some things. And I know Jeff and I were trying to work together to make sure that it was very clear on non-retainer versus retainer. So he may have a couple of suggestions for you all. I don't know. I wanted to make sure to include him in my discussion as well, since he has to approve and appropriate.
I kind of like the idea of doing a temporary extension. It's a great draft. Jennifer and I did have some conversations last Thursday or Friday around the idea of what's covered under retainer and what's not. And I mean, I think in my mind the correct lens to look at that through is if it's something that we expect to happen or we would reasonably expect to happen during the course of a year, it should probably be under retainer. And it's the one-off things that shouldn't be under a retainer. And if we do that mental exercise and it winds up increasing the workload, then maybe the retainer fee should be higher, but we may have an opportunity to consider that more closely if you're thinking that's okay.
I'm fine with doing what you just said. I think litigation is the biggest issue, right?
We're getting killed right now.
Yeah, I know, and it's been a weird year for that. I can't remember a time where we have had this much at this, and you probably remember too, Rick, you know, you might have one every so often or two, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
So,
And that shouldn't be under retainer. It's, you know, those are those one-off things, but
my ideal litigation would be something that's covered under Sedgwick, that you're just paying me to get the referral and then review it every so often. I mean, that we have had a couple of very different types of litigation lately that have really I think artificially bumped up what would be a normal year.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So,
If you're going to extend the existing, what are you talking about time-wise?
do you think
A month?
30 days?
Yeah.
I think 30 days would give us enough
Yeah.
time for
Good with that?
Jeff can provide you his feedback or recommendations, and we can just regroup on it.
We need to make that an action item to extend a contract, existing contract for 30 days.
I put it on.
You already got it on.
I already wrote it down.
I was saying right.
All right.
Lydia's not trying to fire me today, and I'm a little offended that Keith did not ask me about my driver's license. So,
I'll check them after the meeting.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
Mr. Jones, you had something?
So my only comment would be, I mean, first of all, I think you've done a great job, you know, since you took over the full time, and I think that, you know, I think there's good communication between you and the manager. My only question, I mean, I like some of the things that you added, especially about trying to get like a paralegal, you know, the paralegal more involved, and a few other suggestions, and I'm good with that. Anything to save money or keep costs, you know, as level as as we can. But I just want to make sure that the quality stays, that nothing, you know, goes under the radar or something like that. And next thing you know, we're in a mess, which will cost us more money.
Just to respond to that, I will tell you this. I have a little bit of trouble with delegation. I have a little bit of a control freak mentality. So it's going to be hard to get me to give someone else something. But I will tell you, my suggestion would be that any work by anybody deemed an assistant, law clerk, or paralegal would be that it has to be reviewed by myself before it's submitted. And I think that would help, hopefully.
I'm good with that, but also I'm asking is, because I know sometimes, you know, your work volume, because you are, you know, you're in a law firm. So I just want to make sure that that the time element does not drag.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
To where it's, you know, it gets into
it still needs to be efficient. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
So, I mean,
And maybe we can work on some language to prevent that as best we can. I will tell you my homework for this week is the DSS contracts that I just got from Tammy. So if I may review one myself and then give one someone as a practice one just to see how they do with it, because I have a real problem with
It's pretty complicated, that
control. Yeah,
that
some of them
Is
are
the young
fun.
man still there that's been helping you?
Yes, he is, and he is interested in helping. He's probably tugging at his leash a little bit more than I would like, because he wants to do it, and I'm like, no, not yet. We are also bringing on another attorney who has 17 years of experience. So, not worked in municipal before, but a very nice guy that I think you guys would like as well, very detail oriented. So, I think it will allow some flexibility where we need it, but also for me to be able to retain control if I need to. So.
Other than that, I'm good with it.
It's taking 3 people to replace time.
That's exactly what I told him. He can come back at the assistant rate, by the way, if he wants to.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Wayne had to step out a second, so that brings us to our next nomination for Tech Community College Board of Trustees.
So this is a board I think we discussed a couple times. We have 2 people, I believe, that is stepping off of it. This is a very large board. We had reached out to Dr. Rice about possible nomination. These are usually people who work in the community, higher education. Eddie McGee was serving on the board, things like that. And so Dr. Rice reached out to his assistant superintendent of Stokes County Schools, who is Dr. Jared Jones. And Dr. Jones expressed interest in serving on the Forsyth Technical Community College Board of Trustees, and that nomination would need to be approved by the board. I don't know, because it's not a county board, I don't know that it needs to go through our usual 2-week process, yes or no?
Still an appointment, I think, yeah.
Okay, then we can nominate him today, and then I'll move it to action for the next meeting, if you are so inclined.
Nominate Dr. Jones.
Dr. Jones.
Dr. Jones.
And two, Dr. Jones.
Okay, thank
You
you.
say there was 2 of them open?
Believe there is
Two,
another
yeah.
opening, yes.
Got any applicants for that?
Not yet. Still working.
Good. Moves us to item E, discussion of retiree health plan.
So I guess that would be me. So probably about, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 months ago, I had a couple employees reach out to me regarding our current health plan for the retirees is that for the employee they pay no premium other than just whatever the deductible on the pay plan is. But it's for if you work continuously for the county for 30 years. And so in light of, especially with, we seem to still have a hard time recruiting people in certain occupations and retaining them here in Stokes County. And so what I just want to bring in front of the board is the possibility of creating a second tier of paying half of whatever the premium is that we pay for each employee. So in other words, they would have to pay whatever each year we would look at, and we would say half. So the county would still have to pay half, but it wouldn't be the full for their current retirees, according to our current policy. And what I'm recommending is it would be 20 years, not consecutive, but 20 years total service with full-time and in Stokes County government, with the last 5 years has to be consecutive before they would retire and be eligible for that plan. And I think that, especially with the current state of affairs, there's a lot of municipalities, there's a lot of county government, and even the state government, where they're not paying anything towards their employee health care when they retire. They're just relying on when you turn 62 and you go on Medicare. And I would ask that I think that even if we can attract some employees that were here and then they left due to poor pay and poor benefits, that if we could bring them back either 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, and they would stay here. I mean, hopefully they would stay and finish out for 30. But even if we can get them back for at least a minimum 5 years, especially when you're looking at DSS, looking at the sheriff's office, people come back with experience. We have a lot of people that are working in law enforcement right now to where they're working for Forsyth County, they're working in Guilford County, working in Greensboro. They're close by, and I think anything that would get them back here to serve our county and bring back their experience and their training here, I just think it would be, I think we need to look into it. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
I'm open to doing something. I would like to maybe have Jamie come and tell us what we're doing now and how you might change this. Or you might change it to.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
I don't mean, you don't have to right now, Jamie, but if you want to, you can. Yeah, if you want to, you can, but I was gonna give you some time to
No, well, she
research.
knows about it. I mean, I've been working with her, and
Oh, okay.
I mean, this is not like.
So the way that our retirees health plan works now is you have to have 25 years in the state retirement system. You have to have 20 years with Stokes County, and those do not have to be consecutive. However, the final 10 years of employment have to be with Stokes County in order for us to cover your health insurance 100% until you're at age 65 when you go on Medicare. I think what Brad's wanting to do is to add another tier for that 10 years consecutive, add another tier to a 5 years consecutive, to allow folks to be able to retire. I guess I'm not going to say a little sooner, but a little sooner than they could for those folks that do have 20 years with Stokes County. Because I do think we have several employees that have a number of years with Stokes County, and for whatever reason they left here and then they've come back. So this would allow them to be able to retire with part of their benefits paid, or part of their insurance premiums paid.
How many people do you think we're talking about? I mean, I know it can vary from year to year.
How much money are you talking about?
Yeah. Second question.
Insurance is
That's
expensive.
the questions you can work on elsewhere.
Come back to
I don't
us.
want to move on this today.
No, yeah. Insurance right now is $11,300 per employee per year. That's 100%. So you're looking at half of that to do this, and I would have to do a really deep dive. I know we have a number of employees, especially at the sheriff's office, and DSS and EMS that would benefit from this.
We're self-insured, and I mean, it's kind of a fact of life that older populations have higher medical expenses than younger populations. So if we're talking about people that are trying to retire earlier, they're older and they're going to have more medical complications to deal with, and so it's not their contribution to our overall medical insurance expense is higher than average.
My point in the business world, you can't keep doing this with the system. I think we've talked about that a long time ago. I mean, the health costs are out of sight, and this is a benefit that ain't offered nowhere in the business world. So I don't know how in the world we can afford to keep doing it. But that ain't going to be my problem come November.
Yeah, I think I'm jumping into policy considerations here, but for me, when I look at this, what it is it's a factor that allows people to retire early. Not retire, but retire early, because it's a bridge to Medicare. And I get a little tripped up on the idea, even for our current policy, that we're burdening our taxpayers with the expense to allow our employees to retire early. That's just me.
My counter to that is, because I mean, I've done it. When you're in public safety, policing, and fire, and EMS, we pretty much have crapped on our police, especially police. And I think anything that we can do to bring back some experience, and I get it. I mean, I understand, but I think it's my opinion. It's just the right thing to do and to show our appreciation. And I think it may help us, get some experience back here in Stokes County for the sheriff's office. I don't know I don't know if we're still losing people or how that is, but I mean, staffing wise, anything that we can do to recruit seasoned and people that have experience and have training. But that's just, I'm just one vote.
My question is, I got a little confused. We're trying to incentivize people who left here to come back because, and if they do, then they can retire earlier than where they went.
Well, they would. Well, it depends on where they're at. I mean, if there's still some agencies that, you know, pay for their, you know, will pay for their medical part, you know, when they retire, and maybe they'll stay. I mean, but it's just the course, and we got some that have recently come back. I think with the past 2 or 3 years. I think it needs to, you know, I agree, we need numbers, you know, so.
I agree I like to look at the numbers, but from the emergency side of it, where I get to see it daily, most time in the county, one thing we gotta keep in mind, a lot of our deputies right now depend totally on GPS. That's it, they don't know the roads. They've been here long enough. I've sat and watched it myself, past the road, you know, so I can get a guy come back here, worked here 20 years or 15 years, you know, that knows this county, and I could offer him a little something. I'm fine with that, but on the flip side of that, I would like to know what that cost is beforehand. Back to what Jeff said, you know. Now, granted, where I returned from, I didn't have that benefit, but it goes back to what he said. A lot of companies don't offer that no more. They didn't where I retired from. So I would like to see the numbers, what the numbers are, how many people could benefit from this.
Just one other question to look at, is there other incentives that might work better than this to get those people back? If you think about it, Jamie.
I'll think about it, and to getting people back, I see people and why they leave here right now for more money and for better work-life balance and for more affordable dependent care. So, I mean, I want to give more money and better benefits to everybody here. You know, that's me. But at the same time, I feel like if we're going to use benefits as a recruitment tool and to keep people here, we should really look at why they're leaving.
I agree with this statement.
Yeah. What's the name of that insurance they get on now once they leave the county and it fills the gap?
Cobra.
What is it? Cobra. Cobra, yeah. How is this, is Cobra what we're talking about?
No, Cobra is just it's like an extension of our health plan. They just pay an administrative fee or a percentage to stay on it.
They pay for it once they leave the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
For their Cobra?
Yep.
We'll wait to hear back from you or Jeff once.
And I can provide you with numbers of employees who are eligible. It's going to take some time, but I could give you an idea of how many current employees we have that would be eligible within the next 5 years if we do something like this.
Something like that, some data, money.
Okay.
See what we're talking. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
We might test it and see if it works too. If it don't, then get rid of it.
Exactly. That moves us to Tourism Development Authority appointee.
Rebecca Gibson submitted an application for the TDA. Same with our other appointment, we can nominate today, and pending no other applications or anything, approval at the next meeting.
I'll nominate Rebecca Gibson.
Gibson.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Gibson.
Okay, that moves us to the Voluntary Agriculture Board appointments.
So the VAD board approved 2 applications for nomination. They had Sherry Smith and Cheryl Knight. Once again, we can nominate those 2 with approval.
So they got 2 openings?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so.
I nominate Sherry Smith and Cheryl Knight.
Smith and Knight, I agree.
Yes, Smith and Knight, I agree.
Smith and Knight.
Smith and Knight.
Thank you.
That moves us to the action agenda.
So the first item on the action agenda is the JCPC resolution. This is just supporting the juvenile justice and delinquency prevention legislative request for increased recurring funding for the JCPC Council, community programs, juvenile crisis and assessment centers, short-term residential contract sites, transitional living programs, medical/mental health crisis, unit capacity increase, and North Carolina Secure All Firearms Effectively campaign. And if I'm not mistaken, is Tammy in here? Okay, this was in our budget, correct? Or this was part of the, okay.
This is just a resolution.
Sorry, I just wanted to make sure I had this.
Yeah, this is just a resolution for them to seek more funding.
Okay.
And they ask that you all sign it. And normally someone would be here from JCPC, but they have transitioned to a new person who's over that. It's Daniel Savigny, who took Rich Smith, I think was his last name, took his position, and he is aware that he needs to come and talk to you guys. So he will come at a future board meeting to introduce himself and the programs that they're seeking funding for. But you all have already signed the funding for this year that we have in the budget.
I make a motion we approve the JCPC
Second.
resolution.
All in favor? Oh, we got a question.
As reading the last couple of paragraphs of that, I was reading between the lines where they're saying that they're going to be asking the county for more money than they have in the past because of inflation and the state not providing funds. Did anybody get that impression?
Nobody's approached us that I'm aware of.
No, they haven't asked for more funding.
So this year's taken care of, so it'll be next year before this comes up.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
The next item is the text amendments. This is, and Brian, he's having a discussion. I just want to make sure I get this right.
Thank you, commissioners. The information was included in your agenda packets, all of the documents. I'm happy to answer individual questions you have about the amendments. I'm happy to go through them one by one, however you would like me to proceed, Mr. Chairman.
I'm good. I'm good.
I mean, I can read them off.
But
and I
you
just
want more
want you-
time on D.
Well, D's not
D's not
included in
It's
this
not-
packet.
yeah, okay.
I wanted you to listen to me go through this
Sure.
to make sure I didn't mess anything up. So this is for text amendments B, C, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, O, Q, and S. Does that sound correct?
I would make a motion that we go on the recommendation from the county manager and assistant county manager of approving the text amendments that were also approved by the planning board.
And
Cover everything?
And the motion to adopt, including the consistency and reasonable statement included in your agenda packet.
Add that. What he said.
Second that motion.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Passes.
Right, and we're going to ask you to do the same thing on the ordinance that was
Correct.
included in your agenda packet.
Also make a motion based on the recommendation from the manager and the assistant county manager to adopt that part of the ordinance as well.
Including the consistency statement and the reasonableness statement.
Yes, that too.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You got it right.
Thank you, commissioners.
You got it right or
Take your
correct?
time.
Sorry, I didn't have those separated out. That was my fault. Next item on the action agenda is the EMS medical director contract.
Make a motion to approve the appointment of Dr. Nelson as medical director.
Dr. Davis.
Oh, not Dr. Nelson, but Davis.
I have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then we have the 2027 Stokes County operating plan.
Make a motion to approve the 2027 Stokes County operating plan. Second.
All in favor? Aye.
And then the final item I have is a temporary extension for 30 days on the current county attorney contract.
Make a motion to approve the temporary extension for 30 days based on the document that was provided for the contract in the agenda.
I have a motion.
Second.
Sorry. Motion. Second.
I read you.
All in favor?
That takes us to closed session. We'll be going into closed session for the following rationale: to discuss matters relating to the location or expansion of industries or other businesses in the area served by the public body, including agreement on a tentative list of economic development incentives that may be offered by the public body in negotiations, any action approving the signing of an economic development contract or commitment, or an action authorizing the payment of an economic development expenditure shall be taken in open session.
And for the public's benefit, this is not about the data center.
And we still do not have an application.
I have a motion. Second. 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 More close session.
Quick break.
Hear a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.